All right, we're back. We're back. Another episode. This is two this week, man. Another episode of Slow Feet Don't Eat. I'm excited about tonight. I'm always excited about these conversations, but we had a great conversation with Alexis on Tuesday about being a mom, balancing, taking care of newborn, being inside of the business, doing these different things. Tonight, we're going to have Daniel Class, who's going to be talking about his journey in real estate, in 2020, accomplishing his first deal, how he was able to do that. And this conversation is going to be good because, a lot of people are under the impression that, we've got this thing like I hear it all the time, right? It's like never sleep, work 24/7, focus only on work. And the reality of it is, man, like we've got to be able to have what I like to call work-life balance. You got to have some sort of work-life balance. Daniel's in a band. He's big on the family. He's taking care of his family, and he's trying to balance wholesaling in between all these things while also having a 9-to-5. And he's been able to successfully do that, close on his first wholesale deal. I'm excited to have him on here. One of my students, so this is going to be an awesome conversation. And we're going to hear about how things are going for him, some of his best practices, what's worked for him to get his first deal, and how you can implement those same things inside of your business as well. So I'm going to bring Daniel in, and guys, show Daniel some love in the comments, man, when he gets in here. My God, what's going on, man? How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm just really thankful and happy to be here, honestly.
Absolutely, man. So, usually we're talking on the weekly coaching call that I do inside the group, right? And always asking good questions, and you're like a sharpshooter. I feel like you come in with a question when you have one, you get the answer you need. Like, all right, let me get back to work. And you're balancing a lot, man. So, who is Daniel Class? Where are you from? Why are you in wholesaling real estate?
Yes. Daniel Class. I mean, I grew up originally from Jersey. Like half my life now in PA. That's where I met my wife. In PA, Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. I grew up in a small family, hardworking folks. My parents work all their life. They're still working today. I grew up with my mom and dad telling me, you go to school, you get good grades, go to college, get a job. So that's what I did.
Yeah.
Got decent grades. Went to college, and I got eventually my master's in school counseling.
Nice.
So that's my 9-to-5 is I'm a school counselor in elementary.
Yeah, I remember you saying that, man, on one of the earlier calls when you had first joined, and appreciate what you're doing with the youth, man. Was that something that you always wanted to do, or did you kind of happen into it? How did you get into doing that?
It was kind of like a mix because I was always into psychology. Just the study of the brain, the mind, and then I always liked the educational setting. So I kind of just put the two together, and I figured it would be a good route to take.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So, I mean, you're balancing virtual learning in 2020, getting to wholesaling and starting a real estate business in 2020. How do you first hear about wholesaling, and why is it something that you want to pursue? Because you're kind of already doing what you want to do. So how does this all kind of come about originally?
Yeah, so I came across wholesaling just like looking up ways to make money, extra money on the side on YouTube.
Yeah.
Searching different things. I mean, I came across like vending machines. I came across doing Airbnb, just all these different things. And wholesaling popped out on a video. I believe it was Max Maxwell. He popped up. And then I started kind of just listening. What is wholesaling? Oh, wow, it sounds really interesting,
Yeah.
And what the crazy thing is, I always kind of wanted to do something in real estate, just because I would see people like around in the family or like friends, and they were in real estate. They maybe had like a rental or something, and I would hear, okay, they have time to be with the fam and all that. And I'm like, wow, that's something that I think that's the route to go eventually. And then So nothing. I started doing my research and I came across wholesaling, and it just sounded too good to be true.
Right. And it always does when you first find out about it. It's like, all right, so wait a second. So I can find a house that somebody wants to sell.
Yeah.
Get it under contract at a good price, right? Or fair price.
Yeah.
And I can assign the contract to somebody for more money and make the difference.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nah, it's got to be a catch, right?
Exactly.
So what do you start figuring out as you're kind of progressing through this, man?
So I'm just trying to do as much research as possible, saying, is this legit? Is this for real? I start looking for contracts, start looking for a mentor, something where do I get some material? Where do I go?
Yeah.
How do I even start? So I was just trying to get some things together. And I came across you guys. I came across you. I came across you in a video that Max was doing, I believe, with another buddy of you guys. I forgot his name.
Nas or
Nas. Yeah, there we go. Nas.
Yeah.
And they mentioned your program, and I was like, I have to do it. I have to do it.
No doubt, man. So I remember, because did we talk? I think we talked on the phone originally, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is back when I first started the U. What I didn't know what I was doing at the time. I just knew I wanted to help people, get people some game, get them the information. So I remember I was talking on the phone. You decided to take a chance on me, join the program, and start taking your wholesaling, real estate journey, pretty serious. And so I know you're a big family man, and I admire that. The question I got for you is, at that time, did you know how stressful on your time, wholesaling could or would be? Or did you go in like with a game plan, or how did you kind of start to, because you seem like you've been able to create some really good balance. I think I remember at one point we had a conversation and a weekly call. I think you just closed on your a new house with your family or something like that. Yeah. Congratulations, man. So how did you find this balance in what you're doing?
It's kind of tough. I believe the first step was having like a really straight conversation with my wife. Just, letting her know this is what I want to do, the reason I'm doing it, my why behind it, what I think it was going to take, because I wasn't sure at the moment what it was going to take, but she really helped me out a lot. Honestly, I have to give her, a lot of credit, because, she's dealing with the kids. She's giving me that time to really focus on making phone calls, and she's letting me dive into it.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, man. And so now she's got to be supportive, right? So, because so you started, and what was your process like when you first started? Like, because people start in different ways, especially when they have a lot going on in their personal life, things of that nature. Like, were you one of those people where you started and you were like 110% fully locked in, or did you start and it was like an on again, off again thing, and you had to try to get your gear going? Like, where did you kind of fall in all of that?
Yeah, I would say the second category. Because honestly, I already had a job. I have my job.
So and a job that you liked, right?
Yes, and a job that I like, and I still, I love it. So I guess I was kind of in that mindset of like, oh, well, I'll fall back on this,
Got you.
So it took me some like just get some fire under my behind to get this rolling,
get things moving.
Yeah.
I mean, with that fire, like what helped you kind of say like, all right, I really got to stop. Like, I got to get focused on making this happen and execute. What kind of brought that motivation out?
Yeah, well, definitely starting with the why, because, I'm in the job, whatever, but it's like not going like where you want to, you're not where you want to be.
Right.
I envision myself and my family somewhere different,
Yeah. And I appreciate you saying that, man, because, we've all been that, I have, you have, I think everybody has, been that dreamer at your job. And you're just like, man, like this can't, like you're comfortable and like, you're not stressing necessarily. Right. And it's like like, man, I'm making all right money. Like, we're not hurting necessarily, but like, man, I'm supposed to be doing something bigger than this.
Yeah, man.
You know, like life is supposed to, like when I was younger and was thinking about different things and the stuff I wanted to do, like I always thought I was going to do something bigger than this, right?
Yeah.
And so, you know, you're sitting in your cubicle, sitting in your office, whatever it is, standing behind a cash register, like whatever people are doing. And this is something that we all think about.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the difference is some of us act on that thought,
Mm-hmm.
some of us don't. So some of us, it's just forever a dream. It's just forever a thought that we think about when we're in a position that we don't feel that we should be in forever. So you started, I guess, to kind of really make that transition and say, hey, this is something I wanted to do. Did you try to get your wife to do it with you originally, or did you say, hey, this is what I'm going to be doing? What was that like, man? Because I know there had to be a dynamic there for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I would mention and say, hey, you want to help me make some phone calls? And she's like, no. That's not my business. That's your business. You know, but she really pushed me to say, you know, get it done. You know, you can do this, you know?
Yeah, man. Those phone calls can be, they can beat you up, man. They can be, you know, grueling. So, so you get started, you know, you identify your why. You know, it really sounds like, and I talk about this a lot, you know, it really sounds like you were aware of what your ideal life was. Like you were in touch with where you wanted your family to be, how you wanted things to be for your family, what type of things you wanted to be able to provide. It sounds like from our conversations, not just so far tonight, but just even with you in the group in the past, you know, I can tell that that's something that's of importance to you. So how did you manage your schedule once you really kind of got into the business and realized like, okay, like this is going to take some time and effort? You know, how did you get to a point where you balance your teaching schedule? You said you're also in a band. Like,
Yeah.
how did you figure this stuff out, man?
Oh, so using the calendar on my phone, you know,
Yeah.
try to set up certain days, certain times, you know, for this amount of time, I'm going to just try to make as many phone calls as I can, you know, and just keep going, just keep hitting it. While also working in the rehearsals for the band. Well,
Yeah.
honestly, the pandemic kind of, you know, brought a downer to that just because we weren't out.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So it provided me more time, honestly.
Good. Yeah. Now you know, I've never been able to play an instrument, man. I'm trash. You know, I've tried a couple of times, but from what I've heard and what I see from other people, you know, like you've got a love of music when you play an instrument. So, you know, I'm sure that's something that you pursued heavily, put a lot of passion behind. You know, it sounds like you were able to kind of transition some of that passion because of the pandemic behind and put that energy behind real estate, you know, to kind of really start moving things forward. So that's awesome, man. So where did you start? Where did you get your first list? You know, are you using $1 to make your phone calls? Like, what are you doing to kind of really get the ball rolling?
All right, cool. So first list, got it off of a charged up list.
Shout out the charged up list, man.
Right. I believe it was absentee 60 plus.
All right, yeah.
Okay, it was one that was recommended, you know.
There you go.
And I didn't have a dialer. I just used a Google Voice.
Nice.
You know,
so free Google Voice number, guys. You bought a list. You went out and skip traced it, and you're grinding for real then, because you're hand dialing, meaning you got to punch every number.
Yeah, you know, like 3 per.
Yeah, man. So you start doing that. What month did you kind of really get in your groove and really start kind of dialing it in?
Yeah, I would say I would have to say around like October-ish. Yeah, maybe a little before. I really started hitting it, man. I was hitting it, making phone calls, talking with sellers every day. And I came across a few, you know, that they're like, yes, you know, I want to sell. And you send out that contract and you're like, hell yeah, man. You know,
yeah. You know, it's the craziest feeling, right? Man,
it's such a crazy feeling, man. Oh my God.
You send out the contract and you're like, yo, for sure they're going to sign this.
Yeah.
And for sure I'm about to get paid, like for sure. And you send the contract out, your anxiety starts going crazy. And then they don't sign it.
Then they don't sign. Oh my God.
And you're like, wait, what is going on, man? So So was that something that maybe kind of, so when that started to happen for you, was it something that kind of set you back? Was it something you were able to power through? I think a lot of people run into that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to get your thought on it because I had a conversation, with a couple people before.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I got started, some things didn't go the right way. I had a deal that was supposed to close, didn't close, all these different things. And they kind of backed out of the business or had to find a way to get re-excited about it. What was that like for you?
For sure. I mean, I had to be honest, it did kind of set me back a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I was just frustrated. I was angry. I'm like, damn, I thought it was going to be just a little bit easier. I thought they would say yes, they would sign, and we just, get this flowing.
Yeah.
It did set me back. But I was like, shit, I gotta make it happen. If I would always say, if you want it, you have to make it happen. Nobody's going to give it to me, So I just had to get the willpower together and push through.
I love it, man. So you start pushing through this. Where does the first deal come into play? Like, is this from one of the lists from Charged Up, and you're just making the phone calls on that 60+ absentee list, and you get a bite on it? Or did it come from somewhere else? How did that kind of first deal kind of come to be?
Yeah, so it came from the Charged Up list.
Nice.
It did, and then I have been in contact with this person. It was an elderly lady. For a long time, the first conversation, it was like I asked for her husband, and, and then she's like, he's dead.
Ah, man. So how did you handle that, man? That's an awkward thing, right? Like,
it's so awkward, man.
How did you handle that when you asked her the husband and she says he's passed?
Oh my gosh, I don't know, something. I believe it was a conversation in the U that we had. Like, it's like you have to get to their level, get to like kind of match what they're feeling or what they're what you're hearing.
Absolutely.
So I brought my tone down.
Yep.
I got real soft, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, you got to build that rapport on it.
Yeah, it's just trying to build that rapport and let her know that it's sad to hear that he passed. And I asked her about the property, if it's still something that they had and they were going to, or they were interested in selling. And then she just started naming all these things, all these motivation, for her to sell. It was a property that they owed money on still. There was somebody living in the property, but they hadn't paid rent or anything in years.
Wow. Yeah. Now, was this somebody she knew or just like a tenant in general? Because usually when I hear them say that, it's like a family friend or family member.
It was a family member.
I got you. So and guys, when you have a family member involved in the deal, that's the tenant, and you've got somebody who wants to sell and they've got a family member in the property, it makes it it kind of creates a sticky situation because there's emotions involved, right? And so I'm sure maybe that's something that you probably ran into on this particular deal. So, you find her on Charged Up list, you connect with her. How long were you following up? Because you mentioned that you had talked with her for a while. What was that follow-up time period like?
Yep. So it was kind of sporadic. I wish it was more like I had like a specific amount of time that I was following up.
Yeah.
What I did was I saved her name and her number on my phone with the property and the amount that I wanted to offer, whatever. Just so I would remember. And when it would click in my head, oh my gosh, you got to call her. I would send her a text or call her and say, hey, how you doing? The thing was, she had originally said, yes, I want to sell. Then she ghosted me, man.
Oh, man.
Then So that was like, crap, so I kept on going with the list, looking for other people. And I came across one, and then it was a big issue. And I was like, man, this isn't working. I'm about to do something else. Wouldn't you know, then out of the blue, I'm driving home from work, and she calls me.
All right, wait a second. So you're driving home from work.
Yeah.
All right. Your phone rings.
Mm.
You look on the phone. You got her saved as the property.
Yeah.
Amount, the whole thing, right? Mm-hmm. When shit pops up on your phone, man, what happens? Like, how are you feeling right then?
Dude, I almost crashed, man. I got so excited.
It's like, yo, hold up, wait a second. Like, so she's on the phone. You're driving, so you're not even like on a computer.
No.
nothing, no script in front. Like you're like, wait, man. So how do you balance this, man? Like what starts to happen on that call?
So I mean, I had her name, so I pick up the phone and I answer. I say, hey, and I say her first name. I call her Sweet Lorraine. Sweet Lorraine. And she's like, oh, you know my name, and I said, oh, I remember I think I said I remember all my special clients by name, something like that.
Yeah.
And she asked me, are you still interested in buying the property? I did like.
It's like, hell yeah.
Yes, yes, definitely, so I'm trying to keep her on the phone while I'm driving home so I can get to a computer so I can get on PropStream because I had totally forgotten like exactly.
Right. Yeah.
So I got home, I swear, I parked my car and I ran down to the computer, pulled up the property real quick, and then we started talking numbers.
Yeah.
And originally she said, well, I was going to sell it to a friend. That he wanted to give me 90,000.
Okay.
90,000. But no, 95, I believe it was 95. And then I said, okay, I'll give you 100.
So you were like, I got to make this happen, right?
Yeah, man. I was like, I want it.
So you jump right in. Now, was this like an excited, hey, I'll give you 100 because you're trying to beat the 95?
Yeah.
Or you look and you're like, all right, not like 100 can work. Like how did you know that you could say 100,000?
Well, just going off of the as is comps.
Got you. Yeah.
The numbers would work. Even if you put 20 or 30,000 into the property to fix it up, from what I saw in the photos that were available and all that, and what had sold in the area, I figured 100 would work. I could still walk away with the minimum 5,000 if I sold it. So I felt good about it.
All right. So you say 100. What does she say?
She was all about it. She said, when can you come to see the property?
All right, nice. So walk me through it. So what happens kind of from there?
So we set up a date. I go to see the property. I took 2 blank copies of the contract.
Nice. Pro tip there. I like it.
So I figured, she'll get a copy. I said I have a copy,
Yep.
And then I get to the property. I have that. I'll have my mask, all that ready to go. And we go to the property. Chris, when I get to that property, bro, that was like the most epic hoarder situation.
Oh man,
crazy! Oh my god,
I've had a couple of those since I've been in the business.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say like 3. One that was just insanity. And I got a question then. So because I remember in the 3 times that I've dealt with a hoarder, one of the toughest things is they don't want to let you in the house.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're embarrassed or whatever the case might be. Like I've been in them, man, where they're like rats just on the table, the floors, like you hear them, you're like running around. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So you didn't know that it was a hoarder situation before you got there.
Mm-mm.
So you're thinking that the property's in much better condition then.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So you get there, you walk in the door. Like, what's your first thought when you hit the door?
Well, I got to go back because we got there. The person was supposed to be there. He wasn't there. We couldn't get in the house. So I was already up here, man. I was like, yeah, we're gonna get this house or whatever. I'll talk her down the price. Didn't work out. We got the family member on the phone, and I had to, get my voice strict with him and say, I made a promise. I'm a man of my word. I'm here. You said you were gonna be here. And basically, we set up for the next day. He said he promised me he would be there. So the next day comes, we get there, we go inside the house. Now, when I open the door, man, the kitchen was like falling apart.
Oh man!
I don't even think there was a stove. You could see the rats. I think there was cockroaches too. The floor was it was messed up, and everything was like up to the ceiling.
It's like trash, like stuff.
Yeah,
up to the ceiling.
Just up to the ceiling, and even when you were outside, like in front of the garage, in the yard, everywhere, just things everywhere.
Man,
my God! I think I bit off more than I could chew.
No doubt, man. So, all right, so you had told her 100 before that.
Yeah.
You still feeling good about 100 at that point? Like, what's kind of happening there?
Yeah. So finally, we go back to her place, and we sit down to talk, and I'm thinking, dang, I don't think 100 is gonna work. If I try to to assign this is gonna be it'll be too much.
Waiting the money. Yeah.
Yeah. So then I figure I took off 25,000. So I said, I'll
Smart.
give you, no, I took off more. I took off more. I think I started like at 70 because I figured if I could get it at 75,
Can you
you
still make something happen with it?
yeah, it would be good. So I started with a low number because I remember I think it was you or Keith Everett. One of you guys said, if your offer doesn't make you feel embarrassed or weird, if you
Yeah,
don't,
yeah, no, yeah,
it's not low enough.
yeah. And I actually had this conversation either today or yesterday with a one-on-one student. All right. If you're making your initial price anchor
Mm-hmm.
and you don't feel uncomfortable,
Mm-hmm.
you're not making the right offer.
Yeah.
It's got to make you feel like, oh man, like.
Yeah.
So you tell her 70.
Yeah, I believe I said 70 if I remember correctly.
How did she even react to that? I mean, that's a long way from 100,000.
No, she was like, nope. She was like, nope. You said 100.
Man,
you said 100. So and you already said 100. So I can't go 70. So I was trying to see. I'm like, dang, why? What is it? I said, why do you? I think I asked her, why do you need 100?
So you thought she had an attachment to being around that number? That's actually a really good question. So what did she say? I guess in response.
My question behind that one was why, what is it? How much is it that you really owe on this property? Because originally she didn't want to tell me.
Mm-hmm.
She told me the amount that she owed, plus some things that she needed to pay, and it added up to close to 70.
Okay. Yeah.
A little close to 70, a little under 70. So I figured, man, 70 is a good off. It'll help you pay that off or whatever. She said, no, I can't go that low. So I said, let me talk with my partner to see what I can do.
Yeah. I love it.
So I walk away to the door and I call my wife.
Yeah.
That's why I called my wife and I said, babe, I'm gonna offer this. What do you think? And she's like, I don't know. And I said, well, I think I'll go 5,000 and see what she said.
Yeah.
So I go and I say, 75. And she thought about it and I said, think about it. You'll pay off the rest of the mortgage. You'll be able to buy those new tires that you need. You'll be able to pay off your credit card, right? And I said, and you'll still have money in your pocket.
Hey, man, my guy, Daniel, you've been in the course, man. You've been watching the videos. You've been working the script. You got to lean into the pain point, and you got to show the seller guys the bigger picture. You got to show them we're problem solvers, but often the people that we're solving problems for, they don't realize that they have a problem, or they don't know the solution to that problem. So what Daniel just described, and I love this because I teach this all the time to my students, and I love seeing students who implement what I tell them to do. So you went to her and you explained to her the pain of having that property still.
Mm-hmm.
And you also painted a picture for her on what she would benefit from, or how she would benefit from selling you the property for the 75,000. And if you described it the way you just described, I'm guessing she said yes, right?
You know what? When she said yes, bro, oh my gosh, I wanted to jump right there,
Yeah, yeah. So you pumped up like, oh,
yes. Another thing, I have to step back because this is a big thing. It was a family member in the property, okay?
Right, correct.
That was a big thing. It was something that was anchoring her to that property.
Yeah, to let it go when there's a relative involved. I've run into that a lot.
Yeah, so I remember asking like, what should I do? And you guys said cash for keys. Yep. And I'm like, okay. So then the thing was, he kept on ghosting me. I would try to get in contact with him, and it would be weeks, and I couldn't get him. Finally, I just showed up to the property late, like around 6, 7 in the afternoon, and I waited with her for like an hour.
Oh, she was there with you?
Yeah, she was in her house, and I waited there for like an hour, and I peeped, and I saw him in the backyard, and I ran, and I said, yo, when I called him by his first name.
Yeah.
And I was like, come here, and friendly.
Yeah.
And we started talking, and I started explaining to him, hey, this is what's gonna happen either way,
Yeah.
It's gonna happen either way.
Yeah.
But I want to help you. I'm here to help you. I know it sucks, but I don't want you to feel like you're being pushed to the side,
Yeah.
There's something that has to happen to help her out, and if there's any way I could help, what is it that you need? And so he had to get to another state. So my one of the solutions was I'll pay for a storage unit.
Nice.
So I did. The conclusion was 3 months of a storage unit. I think it was like $100, 100 something
a month. And so that was your cash for keys that you negotiated.
Yeah.
Was, hey man, listen, I'll pay for you to have a storage unit for 3 months so you can get things transitioned to this other state.
Mm-hmm.
And that ended up costing you, let's just say $500 in max.
Yeah.
All right. So it cost you $500 max. How do you end up finding your buyer for this deal?
Yeah. So joining a lot of different real estate groups in Facebook. Once I got the property, I took as many pictures as I could, did a little like slideshow.
Yep.
And just started posting it on the Facebook groups. And it's like you say, if you have a good deal, the buyers are gonna come, man.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So and they started hitting me up, man. They started hitting me up, and it was kind of messed up because there was this one guy, he had hit me up in the beginning right away, and then he had me waiting. Like I would hit him up, hey, when you want to, and he wasn't hitting me back, and I kind of felt like a sucker because I was like, shit, I'm wasting all this time. I could have been hitting up other people.
Yep.
Other buyers in here. I don't know why I felt some sort of commitment to him. I think.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like I talk about sometimes in the group. I think a lot of that is when you're a new host, especially when you're working on that first deal, you like all that energy, effort, those cold calls, contracts not getting like returned back. Like all that energy is pushing you into your first deal.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you finally got that opportunity, you start kind of, somebody tells you they're interested or, hey, I want to buy it. You kind of latch on to that because it's what you've been working for so long. So you want to kind of get to that profit. And that's why I like the open house method so much, that I teach you guys in the group, because with that open house method, you're getting as many buyers as possible to the property at one time, typically. You're going to create that frenzy effect, competitive nature of buyers where they're going to offer more maybe than they typically would to get that highest and best price. So you take some time and, you kind of chase after this buyer. It sounds like it doesn't work out with him. So how do you transition out of that?
Yep. So then the other buyers that had hit me up, I just started texting them, sending them messages. I said, it's available. I'm going to open the property, the open house method on this day from this time to this time. And boom, I went, somebody hit me up. One buyer showed up, a lady, and she started checking it out. And she came to me. She's like, can we make this happen today?
There you go.
Gosh, bro. I was like, what?
Wait, so hold on, wait. So you got it for 75. How much are you marketing it for?
I marketed it for, I think it was 100.
100. All right.
Yeah.
So you got it out there at 100. You're at the open house. And she says, can we get this knocked out today?
Yeah.
And in your mind, you're like, yo, I got it at 75.
Oh, I was like, what? Oh my gosh.
All right. So wait, what was the phone call on the way home to the wife after that conversation?
Oh my God. After I was driving, I'm like, babe, I'm about to get paid. Oh my gosh, I'm about to get this money. This is crazy. It's really happening. I got to get this contract together, the assignment.
Yeah.
I was just super excited. Cloud 9, man. I was like,
no, man, that's an amazing feeling, man. That's awesome. So you're pumped up. You get home, you take care of the assignment, and this is who you end up selling it to. It sounds like.
Yeah, but it wasn't for 100. She was negotiating back and forth. She's like, yeah, I got to put more money into it. And in my mind, I'm like, forget it. I just want to.
Right. Like, well, let's make it happen.
Just make it happen. I don't care if I make 20,000, 5,000. I just want,
Yeah.
I want to make more 20,000.
No doubt. So what number does she end up at?
95.
95. So just a slim haircut. Just a little haircut on the price. All right.
Yeah.
So you're at 75. She's at 95. 20 G's payday on the first deal. That's beast mode. So how do you get this thing to closing? Do you run into any snags before closing, or is everything smooth sailing? What's that process like?
Let me see. It was pretty smooth. I have to say I had sent already the I was gonna say the title, the contract to the title company.
Yeah.
So everything was ready to go. I let them know that it was gonna be an assignment early on, and they were cool about it. I got them the assignment contract. They contacted the lady, and they set a date. They're like, when do you want to close? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And we set a date to close, and that's when I really got nervous. I really got nervous when they put the date to close, because you're gonna sign it. I have built up all this, this great relationship with the seller, but then I was so worried that when she would get there, she would see a different name.
Yeah, because you were doing the assignment.
Yeah, man, and I thought, crap. I hope nothing goes.
So you're in that spot. And you know what's crazy, man? Honestly, is that feeling never goes away, and like that anxiety. I mean, I've done hundreds of deals, and I just closed. I sold a house today, and it's like that anxiety is always there. At least for me, it's always there where you're like, man, this is gonna fall apart. Man, this ain't gonna really go down. Man, what if they don't close? And then I don't know if you're like me too. I'm like, if I'm making 20 G's, I might have already spent 10. In my head, I'm like, I gotta get this. I was supposed to go travel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So those are normal feelings, right? So you're going through all these things. It finally closes. You go get your check. What is? I want to know the feeling, Daniel, going to get the check. All right. And then once it touches your hands, man.
Oh my God. So I was at work that day. Everything I had set up. It was a Friday, I believe. It was a Friday, and it was closing day. I called the seller early that morning. I said, hey, just remember, it's at the appointment set for this time. I can't be there with you, and I said I can't be there with you because of the pandemic. It can't be more than. I kind of made that up a little bit.
Yeah, you smooth, man. You smooth, man. I like it.
So she went. She signed. She called me afterwards. I said, "Let me know after you're done." So, dude, I'm at work, and I'm pacing back and forth, man.
Yeah,
I'm pacing back and forth. I'm looking at my phone. I'm, oh my God, everything's going good.
You telling the kids like, look, y'all ain't gotta just relax. Just relax.
I didn't even think I saw kids in my office that day, bro. I was just going back and forth, man. I couldn't. Once she signed, I felt more at ease, honestly.
Because then it's just on the buyer at that point. And it sounds like you had a lot of confidence, in your buyer. And I got to say one thing before you finish this too. Like from hearing you describe this scenario, like, man, you displayed great poise in the situation. But most importantly, above anything else, and this is something I preach to you guys as students in the U inside of Charged Up, I hear that you were intentionally focused on taking care of the seller. You're communicating with her. You're letting her know that what's going on. It sounds like you had developed a really good rapport with the seller, and you cared about her outcome and helping her solve this problem. Because let's face it, she had a property that she was hoarding stuff in. I'm sure that it was in disarray. It was falling into disrepair. It wasn't livable aside from this relative that's living in the property. So things are just progressively getting worse. And so you really were intentional about helping her solve this problem, man. So 110% respect to you on that. So you get the check though, right? Like everything goes through. The seller signs. You're a little relieved. Buyer goes in and closes.
Mm-hmm.
A day or so later, what's the drive like to go get the check? Like what's racing through your brain, man? First deal, you put in all this time. You've sacrificed a bit. Like, what are you thinking on the way to get the check?
Oh man, it was the same day, bro.
Nice.
I called the title company and they said we could actually get this done today. I said perfect. I said I'm out of work at so time, And I asked him, I was like, "You guys still open?"
No doubt.
He said, "We'll be here till like 4 o'clock." I said, "I can make it." And the drive was like maybe 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I got out of work like at 3:30. Bro, I flew down there, man.
So you fly to the title company.
Yeah.
You get like, what are you thinking? Like, you like, man, like, I really did this shit. Like,
dude, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I'm like, yeah, I'm actually gonna get paid. There's a check there.
Yeah.
Get there. I park the car, bro. I run to the building, run up the steps, and I see they're about to leave. And then I see her in the doorway, and I'm like, "Hey, it's me. It's Danny from." And she's like, "Oh, okay, come in real quick."
Yeah.
She gave me a big white envelope.
Yeah.
Folded like it's gold, man.
It's like the golden ticket, man. It's like the ticket, man. So you get the envelope, you open it in the building, or you wait till you get in the car?
No, I had to play it cool, man. So I had like a little briefcase type thing.
Keep it real professional.
Yeah, and I'm walking, everything's good. I get to the car, I ripped that thing open as fast as I could, and I took it out, and I saw that check, bro. Oh my gosh, I couldn't believe it.
Man, that's crazy. Now, is this like the biggest check you've ever gotten in like one chunk? Like, so you get this check, and then like, what's the feeling then? Like, what's the conversation when you get to the house, man? Like, I know you told your wife that y'all look, we about to do something special.
No, man. When I got to the house, and I show her it, it's just like, wow, like I knew you could do it. You said you were gonna do it. You made it happen. Hugs, kisses, and we're just like giving thanks to God as well, and just so grateful. Because then on another note, yeah, we got paid.
Yeah,
Ellie got paid. She got her situation solved, so I felt good about that. You feel it's very fulfilling, I got to help her out, and the buyer got what they wanted. So it's a win-win-win for everybody.
No doubt, man. Yeah, really. Yeah, man. So congratulations, my man, on this first deal, man. It's an accomplishment. Again, I remember when you first got in the program. I mean, you worked the thing. You've done what you got to do. In reflection, getting to your first deal, making 20,000. What was the time frame from when you started? This is a question a lot of people like to ask or know. But what was the time frame from when you started till you got that first check in your hand for that 20,000?
Mm-hmm. So I had started, I believe it was like mid-July-ish, if I'm not mistaken. But then you got to remember, I was on and off.
Right.
So mid-July, I was in the program, which is awesome. I mean, I recommend it to anybody. It has so much value, guys.
Man, I do.
Really. So I started watching the videos that were there, asking questions, and I was on and off. But then again, I remember I was in contact with this lady for a while.
Yeah.
So it just kept on like the rapport was building more.
Yeah.
It was like marinating,
No doubt.
And then in October is when she hit me up, and that's when the whole thing, kind of like took off, the whole deal.
Dope, man. So things take off. You get this thing closed. Once it closes, what's the game plan? Because I always talk about how that first step is the hardest step, to get over when you're getting rolling in this business. What was that? What was that like? To get that first deal completed. What was the next step? Like, what was the focus after that?
Yeah, so I wanted to reinvest in the business. I didn't want to spend it. Honestly, I didn't want to touch it at all. I just wanted to but I wanted to spend some more money on the business. I buy more lists. I wanted to get me a dialer, just things to kind of help me out to make more calls and things.
Yeah.
I wanted to pay off some bills that we had. I bought my parents a couch.
That's dope.
Couch on the seat,
That's what this is about, man. So I guess, man, like one thing that I would ask is, where do you kind of see yourself taking wholesaling? Like, what do you want to do with wholesaling? Is it, because I admire what you've done, because you did this with a Google Voice phone number, no dollar, buying some list, getting it skip traced, and just getting right on the phone.
Yep.
doing this by cold call. I mean, how many cold calls do you even think you made dialing one by one? I mean,
Oh damn, bro. I think she was like number 70 on the list, but I had skipped around.
yeah,
But it was like over 100, but then you times that by 3 because it's 3 numbers.
you're calling a lot, like
Off.
300, 400 something people or phone calls you're making.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. And people are always like, hey, like, how many calls do I have to make? How many? And it's like, there's measurables, in the business for sure. But at the end of the day, it's really just about something that you said early in the conversation. It's about talking to sellers every day and getting on the phone.
Yeah.
It could be that first call, it could be that 1,000th call.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless, you got to just get moving on the phone and having those seller interactions.
Yeah.
It sounds like you've been able to do that. So, you've reinvested in the business. You're working on more deals. Have you found that next deal? That I'm sure that's in progress. If you haven't, where's that kind of at, man?
Yeah, it's in progress. So I mean, I actually had one, and it had fell through.
Yeah.
It happens, but
Right.
I didn't get discouraged. That's one thing that's great about your program as well. There's so many. Everybody in there is great, and they keep your spirits up.
No doubt.
So it keeps me motivated to keep on going. Found another one. Found two.
Nice.
Found two more, and then so I'm looking to lock another one up. That's local in my area.
Nice.
And just I've actually been trying to incorporate more driving for dollars.
Yeah. Yeah.
When I drive, like on my drive home, I start searching. I'm looking at houses, to see what do I see around.
You're in real estate mode, man. I mean, if you close that first deal, man, you just get in real estate mode. So then your brain just starts functioning in a way where everything you're thinking about when you're looking at different things, whatever the case might be, like real estate seems to just kind of always be, front and center in some capacity. I guess in reflection, and guys, if you have questions, go ahead and drop some questions. If you got questions for Daniel or myself, go ahead and put them in the comment box, and we'll answer those before we wrap up for sure. So drop your questions. But balancing all these things that you've had to balance. You got a job that you like, but it's a full-time job. It's not pick your own hours. That kind of thing. You got a family that you're very, very involved with and care a lot about. You love music and these different things. In hindsight, because hindsight's always 2020, what you mentioned time blocking, being on top of your time and balancing when you were doing what, but what else would you say was instrumental in you being able to have strong work-life balance?
Oh man, it's a tough question. I mean, I would have to say in my mind, just knowing that I had to get this done. I have my vision for my family. One of my ultimate goals in life is like to retire my parents,
Respect.
to have that ability. In my mind, I'm thinking, I want to do this. Let me be the guinea pig. Let me see, is this really worth it? Will it really work? I could turn on other family members to this, so they can have success as well.
No doubt.
So I'm thinking real estate is the way to go. Let me be the one to really push through it and see, if it's going to work and really just try to get our family to that next level,
Yeah.
And it's just I feel like it's the ticket, man. It's just that ticket to get you where you want to be, man. It's like
no doubt, man. I'm proud of you, man. I'm glad that you took a chance, joined the program, implemented the things that you were being taught, and were able to reap the benefit of that, man. So much respect to you. 20,000 first deal. And that's a hit. That's a hit, man. That's definitely a hit.
It's like having my salary, bro.
I mean, that's crazy. When you think about it, you're able to take a house you didn't own. Like, tell me, like, describe that in your own words, like what that thought is like.
About the amount of money made?
Yeah.
I'm like, geez, in one deal, I worked through, I was able to make like half of my salary. It was mind blowing. It blew my mind. Just being able to do that, the power behind it. And knowing that that's just one deal.
Yeah.
Effort, you could have 1, 2, 3, 5 in a month, and just wow, it's just so much opportunity. It really opened my eyes. It blew my mind, man.
That's awesome, man. I love it, man. Salute. Here's a good question. So, not to put you on the spot,
Ah.
if anybody from the school is watching, much love. You guys got a phenomenal employee on your hands. This guy loves his job and he loves helping the children, man. But in the future, not saying near future, long future, but at some point, do you plan to lead to pursue, wholesaling or real estate full time, or do you see it as something that you plan to kind of do on the side as you kind of grow professionally and in your business and whatnot?
Yeah. Honestly, in me thinking of where I want to be for my family, um, I would leave, and that's one of my plans is to eventually, just keep on growing the business and really make it happen so I can get to where I know we can be.
No doubt, man. Yeah, and I liked it. And I talk a lot about that ideal life, and I can see you think in response to some of these things, and I can see you identify with that ideal life
Mm.
to help you kind of get that balance, man. So, respect. How do you handle the earnest money, and how involved were you in the closing?
Okay, so earnest money, like my earnest money, or is the buyers?
Let's talk about both. So, you had earnest money. What was your earnest money with that seller on that contract? Do you remember?
$100.
$100. All right. So exactly like I got it in my contracts, guys. $100 EMD. Daniel, I'm assuming you use my contract since you're one of my students. So $100 on the EMD. Now, what was the EMD that you requested from the end buyer?
Yep, that was a 2,500.
25. All right. This is also in the course. Dan, you doing your thing, man. I like this. I like it. All right. So 2,500 non-refundable.
Yeah.
You get that put down. So awesome, man. And how involved, I guess, were you in the closing? You want to explain that kind of?
Yeah. I mean, I felt like I was pretty involved because I was keeping the communication with both. I think that's key, man. Like,
Yeah.
stay in communication with the seller, but also stay in communication with the end buyer, but also stay in communication with the title company. So you're keeping open lines of communication. Everybody know what's going on, what's gonna come next. Because if you leave them like in limbo, they're gonna. I don't know. I feel like I would get scared.
Yeah.
Like, what's gonna happen next?
Yeah, and that's what I try to tell people too, man. It's like if you're dealing with that anxiety, waiting for the transaction to close
Mm-hmm.
and get your money,
Mm-hmm.
why would you think that everybody else isn't dealing with the exact same thing?
For sure.
Your seller's dealing with it, your end buyers, like everybody's kind of got some level of anxiety going on. So keeping in contact with everybody, like you mentioned, setting proper expectations with everybody
Yep.
is really the way to handle it, because then when things do pop up, if and when they do, you're able to manage through that because you've built good rapport with your seller. You've got a good working relationship with your end buyer, man. So salute. After getting that deal, did you consider hiring a cold caller to call for you and knock out calls while you're working and bring you warm leads that you can come home to?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely thought about it. But I don't know if it's me being greedy or what. I guess I figured, man, I can do it myself for now. I don't feel like I'm at such a place where I need to have somebody calling for me.
Yeah.
That's just personal.
Yeah, no, I like that answer because it's going to be different for everyone. Number one, but number two, I always say like when it's your time to have to need somebody in your team to help you make calls, things of that nature, you're going to know.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to show itself. So yeah, I mean you're definitely in good shape. When you have that feeling that it's something that you need to look into or consider, you're one of my students, man. Post that message in the group, tag me in it, and I always give you my advice. And you know how I am, man. I shoot it straight with my students, man. It's no fluff with me. Get to you guys all the way straight because I believe and love you guys, and I want to see you guys succeed and do great in this business, man. Let's see what else we got. When you had your open house, you said the lady asked if you could do this today. With that said, did you wait the rest of the open house for all offers, or did you close the doors and set up with her? Great question.
Yeah. So actually, I had waited a little bit just to see if somebody else would show up. So it just so happens nobody else showed up.
Oh man, this is good. All right, all right.
But
So
I
no,
didn't let her know that,
yeah, absolutely, man. You got to play it. You've been playing it cool this whole conversation,
Yeah,
in the things that you're telling me. These different interactions. So I know you had to play it cool then.
definitely. I think she said something like, "Oh, I don't know if she mentioned it, but I said, yeah, I have somebody else interested."
Mm, I
Yeah.
like that. That's one of my go-to lines with buyers, man.
She tried to come in at 90, and I was like, "Oh, I have somebody."
Yeah, yeah, no. And look, and you squeeze another $5,000 out of it.
Yeah.
Absolutely, man. Dope. Patricia Ellington has a question. Dan, look, I'm going to let you answer this one. All right. Do you find Charged Up University, do you find it easy to understand?
Super easy to understand, guys. I'm telling you, this man right here, he gives you everything you need. Everything you need. It's right there. All you have to do is get it, implement it. Listen to the stuff, digest it, implement it in your business, and you will succeed. I promise you.
Salute, man. Salute. I try to break things down as easy as possible. Make things simple inside the group for people to understand and comprehend, but most importantly, be able to implement in their business. So I appreciate that, man. 110%. Patricia's got another question. So how long did it take from the time you gave the title company your EMD until the close date?
Yeah, so it was originally supposed to take about 30 days. And that was on the contract, about 30 days. But then I was having issues with the family member that was in the house because they wouldn't leave. And then, so then
Now you had to chase it down.
Yep, exactly. And I had to write an addendum, and I think I said 45 days, something like that, because I figured it would give me enough time.
Get it sorted out. Yeah.
Get it sorted out.
I feel like I remember you. Did you ask about an addendum or something like that?
I did.
I remember that. All right. Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. So you sign an addendum, get an extension, and I heard you, man, with that you were using my cash for keys lingo.
Oh yeah.
Hey, this is just how it's gonna. I like that, man. Like, hey, look, guys, this is how it's gonna happen. I don't want to inconvenience. I love it, man. I love that you implemented that and made that work, man. That's the way to do that for sure. If you could give anyone advice, it's a great question. Shout out to Ashley. If you could give anyone advice who's on the fence about joining the U, what would be your number one takeaway you've gained from being a student in my program?
Let me see. Number one takeaway. Wow. It's that there's so many takeaways. I mean, it's hard to put it in one, right? If I had to say number one takeaway from being in the U is I think the accountability factor that the U has,
Yeah.
Because the material's there, but the accountability, they hold you accountable. And it's not just Chris. I mean, it's all the guys in there and the gals.
Family, man. It's the whole family, man.
And I love it. And it really does feel like a family, because when one wins, we all win. It's just such a good feeling.
Nice, man. That's love, man. Look, we've got so many students. What makes it, and this is why we always call it family business, because we've got people that are uplifting each other, supporting each other. We're all going to have bad days. We're all going to have good days, but we've been able to create a culture and community where, if something's going on with Daniel, like Daniel knows we got his back. He knows not just me as the coach has his back, the entire U has his back and is going to support him and be there for him and do what we can to make sure that we support him in succeeding. The thing about the U, and I'll say this because it's my program, Daniel, you don't have to say it. All right. The thing about the U is the only thing I ask. The only thing. All right. Daniel said it, so I'll co-sign it. You get everything that you need, plus a lot. All right. I make sure that my students have every single thing that they need to be successful in the business. The only thing I ask is just be willing to do the work. If you're not willing to do the work, it ain't really probably for you right now. But if you're willing to do the work to go get the life that you deserve, to be able to spend the time that you want with your family, whatever it is that is your goal, because all of our goals are different.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you the information to get it, but you got to walk it like you talk it. Daniel's done that. 20 bands. This is why I said it's a bandemic. All right, the bandemic, man. 20 bands on your first deal, man. I love it, man. I absolutely love it. So this is a good question. Well, let's answer this one first. How did you get the family member to leave? I know you mentioned cash or keys. Do you want to kind of dig on that just a little bit more?
Yeah.
And how you kind of executed that?
Definitely. So it was cash for keys, but it wasn't like I'm gonna give you $500 and then you get on your way. The agreement was 3 months of a storage unit.
Yeah.
We drove together to the storage place, and we picked out. I picked out the unit for him, and we signed that day. And I said, "Look, this is your unit. These are your keys. You can start moving your things in today." And he gave me his word. We had signed it. We had signed like a cash for keys like contract. I don't know what it's called, but
yeah. Did you use the one from inside the group?
Yeah.
Yeah. So surrender of possession agreement.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So surrender of possession agreement. You document out what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
You have them sign it, and then they got to vacate on whatever date that you guys.
Yeah.
How much time did you give him to be able to move?
I think I gave him like about a week and a half.
Nice. He got moving pretty quick.
Yeah, because the whole thing was he was going to leave with another family member. So that was another thing. We had to keep in contact. That's why I say communication is so important, because he kind of started leaning back a little bit.
Yeah.
We had to put that pressure and consistently follow up and make sure that he was doing what he needed to get out.
No doubt. What are a couple, shout out to Thabit, what are a couple golden rules or golden nuggets you learned from your first deal?
Oh, snap. Yo. So one golden nugget, make sure your contract is tight.
No doubt.
Dude, because I got hit with the end buyer calling me and saying, well, it doesn't really say on here that I need to cover closing costs and all that stuff.
Yeah, somebody's got to call that out. Who's going to pay closing costs? Yeah.
And I hadn't, and I don't know how it slipped. So that was like a chunk of change. That was like close to $1,000 that was taken out of my.
I got But what we got to do to get them closed.
Yeah.
At the end of the day. So Thabit, I like this one a lot. And Thabit's into you, man. He knows the vibes. That's what you got to do, is you got to make sure that you've got it kind of buttoned up. You've called out who's paying for the closing costs, who's doing what. So now shout out to you for that, man. That's great advice. I saw another question earlier. I'm gonna try to find it because I think I missed it, or maybe I won't. If it comes back to me, I'll ask it. It might be too far up, but I thought it was a good question. If I miss somebody's question, just ask it again, and we'll go from there. If you have contracts that know how to comp, that's 70%, 75% towards getting to your money. That's a fact. That's absolutely a fact. You got to know how to comp. Shout out to Chelsea, another student of you. She knows how the family gets down, man. Are you dividing the profit to invest back into the business? And if so, what are the areas that you've decided to kind of double down on?
Yeah, honestly, what I tried to just focus on with the profit that I made was buy more lists.
Yeah.
Because I was only on the one list for like months. It felt like months. Yeah. It was months.
Yeah.
I still had if I'm being honest and I'll be straight up with you guys, I still haven't gotten through that whole list. Okay. It was like 500 contacts.
Yeah.
I'm hand dialing. So I still feel that I can get more from the list I have right now.
That's awesome, man.
But I bought another list. I'm gonna get $1 and just some other things.
No doubt, man. No doubt. All right, let's see. How did you find your title? That was what the question was. Did you use a title company or an attorney, and how did you find the companies you use? And Daniel, my thoughts already.
I know. I was gonna say, don't beat me up.
Nah, I know a bunch of y'all are using title companies, even though I tell y'all not to. How did you find your title company? Because I can tell you went with a title company.
Yeah, so against, Chris's, what he always says, I went with a title company. I found the title company going through the real estate group on Facebook, just searching. Um, I don't know. I think I searched investor friendly title companies, something like that, and it pulled up a whole bunch of people suggesting different names, and I just went with the name that popped up the most. And I reached out to them and I spoke to them what I was going to do, what I thought about doing, and I asked them, have you ever dealt with assignments? Do you deal with investors? Those types of questions, and it seemed pretty legit, and they seemed that they could get the job done, so I went with them.
I like it. I like it. Let me see. So, what made you feel comfortable using the title? All right, so you're gonna convince somebody to use a title company tonight. What made you feel comfortable using the title company opposed to using a lawyer? That's a good question. What's your thoughts on that, man?
Ah, man. I mean, you gotta remember, I'm green, man. This is all new to me, so I figure, title company, they know what they're doing. Maybe a lawyer's gonna cost me more money. So I'll just go with the title company. I mean, the people that were investors in the Facebook group, they had used this title company and they gave good reviews. And when I spoke with the lady, she seemed very nice and likable, and like they knew what they were doing. So
Yeah,
that's
and
what.
it sounds like it was like a smaller title company. And so it was kind of more like, and I like using smaller businesses because it gives you that relationship type feel, even when you might just be doing your first deal. It sounds like they didn't treat you like that, and you had a really good experience with them as well.
Yeah.
Nah, no doubt, man. Daniel, Charles is saying we're gonna have a you family barbecue this year, man. Yeah, we're definitely gonna have to get something cranking this
Yeah,
year for
bro.
you guys, man. I'm excited to hang out with you guys in person.
Hell yeah, man.
We haven't had a chance to meet yet, for sure, man. I see Di is in here. D says we got to make sure we have vegan options. Uh, you know, Daniel, you know about we'll figure something out for the vegans.
That
Uh,
sounds
we'll find something for them, some salads, you know,
sad
salads or something like that.
for
Let me
everybody.
see. If the seller thinks you're the buyer, what reason are you given to be able to show the property?
If they think we're the buyer, if I'm the buyer, what reasons are we given? I mean, honestly, you had to do this like on. I felt like I had to do it on the DL. Like, um, this is what I did when I contacted the end buyer to come see the property. I let them know, they live close. Don't talk to them. Any questions, come to me. And so that's how I kind of got around it. Thing was, when they showed up and then the contractor showed up, uh, they came from the backyard and started asking questions to the contractor started talking, but I had already had that conversation with the buyer, and so she shut him up. She said, no, 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 the questions over here. And I guess having that conversation, letting them know if something was to pop off, let them know that we're partners. You're my financial advisor, or you're my contractor, or you're my whatever, property manager or something.
Smart. Yeah, exactly how I would handle it. I agree 110%. D's got a good question. Shout out to D. What is your why?
Ooh, my why starts with my family. I have 3 kids. I have an 8-year-old, I have a 2-year-old, and a 7-month-old.
Man, you got a lot on the plate, man. A lot on the plate.
Yeah, my wife, my parents. Like I said, my ultimate goal is to retire my parents. My why is to have that generational wealth.
Yeah,
Have financial freedom.
no doubt, man. Where does that drive to want to take care of your parents come from?
Because they've taken care of me all their life. And they've worked all their life so hard.
Yeah,
And they're still working hard. And I want to be able just to give back, and I want them to relax, man. I want them just to.
no doubt, man, and enjoy it. So when you told your parents, then, man, we talked about coming home and speaking to the wife. I mean, what was the thought from your folks? When you told them that you made half your salary, you made 20 grand,
uh,
wholesale, like flipping a house you never even owned. You
oh,
know, what was that like, man?
they were just super happy, man. They were super happy. Again, hugs and kisses, and they're like, they say, keep on going. Whatever you put your mind to, you can do it, and we're here for you, whatever you need, and and it was just a lot of support, a lot of emotion, and
Yeah.
yeah, man, it's beautiful.
Nah, man, respect. Let me see. So what do you say when the seller asks, "Are you buying the house?"
I say, yeah,
Exactly.
I'm buying the house.
Exactly.
I
I,
am now, yeah.
I say the same thing, man. I say the
Yeah,
same.
because you are you're. I mean, it's not your money, but you're buying the house. You're fixing that problem for them. So yes, I am buying the house.
110%, man. I agree with you on that, for sure. Daniel, look, bro, it's been a pleasure having you on here tonight. I'm glad that we were able to connect, so that you could share your story, man, talk about what you've been able to do in the past couple of months, inside the real estate business. Share your story, man. Again, the Slow Feet Don't Eat podcast is for people to have a platform to be able to share their first deal story, or even share a deal story. It doesn't have to necessarily be your first deal, but tell your story, who you are, where you're from, how you got into this, how you're able to make it work. Because again, like I always say, like you could hear from me as somebody that's been doing this 11 years and did all these different deals and all these different things, but that could be a little intimidating when you're first starting out. When you haven't done that first deal yet, you don't kind of know which way is up. And so I like to have and facilitate these types of conversations so they can be, a learning experience for people to learn things that they can do inside the business, but also inspiration for people to see that, man, like I can be, a counselor at my school. I can have 3 kids, a wife, playing a band. I can do all these different things and still go out and accomplish my first deal and make half of my salary in a couple of months. Uh, I mean, look, dude, I mean, that salute, brother. Hats off to you, man. Big boss salute. And you know the vibes, man. I mean, it's you family for life, man. You know the deal. You know,
Right.
you know how we get down at the U, man. I'm gonna let you close it out, man. I mean, anything you want to say before we got one more question. I'm sorry. Do you have an accountant? Do you have an accountant?
I don't have an accountant. I do not.
Daniel, you're gonna worry about that in the future.
I don't have any accounting, but yeah, there's some things I got to button up on, But I'm learning as I go.
Listen, what we do in the U is we press forward despite the obstacles, and we get it done. We make money and we get things figured out, man. So keep pushing, keep doing your thing. I mean, what do you want to leave the people with, man? I mean, what do you have to say to the people before we kind of get out of here for the night?
Oh man, I would have to say that just wholesaling in general is it's that, like we said, that golden ticket to get you where you want to be, guys. I mean, you guys can do it. If you're leaning back and kind of scared, don't be. Just dive in. It'll make your dreams come true, man. As corny as it sounds, man, but it will, because it just provides so much opportunity, and if you want it, only you can make it happen.
Hey, that's facts, my brother. That is facts, man. If you want it, only you can make it happen. That's a bar, man. That's a bar right there. Again, man, I am proud of you. Keep pressing forward, man. Keep doing your thing. Keep being a leader in your household. Keep pushing forward in this business. Don't let your foot up off the gas. That deal is the first of many. If when you have those days where you're like, man, find a way to get yourself back on track. Come join into the U family. And tap in as you always do. Get that accountability, get that support, and help that you need on anything that you got going on, man. And thank you for letting me be a small part of your journey and what you've been able to accomplish this far, man. I'm looking forward to seeing you doing a bunch of beautiful things this year as well. And we'll keep it pushing, man. For everybody watching this right now, everybody that's going to see it in the future, keep tuning in for these. I'm going to keep highlighting people, keep sharing their stories, and showing you what they've been able to do in their own lives to be successful in this business. Not just what I've been able to do, but what my tribe, what my people have been able to do inside this business, and how they've been able to move things forward. So much love to every single one of you guys. We're going into the second month of the new year here pretty soon, next week. So it's grind time, guys. I've told you already, it is a pandemic right now. If you're not making money right now, I don't know what to tell you. And I can certainly not tell you what to do if you ain't into you, man. Everybody be good. Much love to you.
Hey,
Daniel, my brother, man. Thank you, man. Thank you.
thank you, Chris.